Hello and welcome back to a special edition of Unity Pastors in Depth. I have a wonderful lady with me. You've seen her several times on my other show, Unity with Pam, but you see her with Unity Pastors in Depth. She is Sharon Spivey of the Gospel Music Association. I want to go ahead and say welcome to Unity Pastors.
Well, thank you for having me.
Tell my viewers what you got going on. You're always doing some of everything.
Well, we are, because, you know, God called us to do a work, and that's what we do. We go out every weekend, and we do gospel singings, and we do things to help other people that are in need. And we've got something really special coming up in the Chattahoochee Valley area, and that is going to be April the 20th, which is our 11th annual Gospel Jubilee.
Tell my viewers about that, because I know it's in the park. It's a lot of fun. And as big girl, I like to eat. And there's food there, so that's a good time, too.
Well, you know, everything that we do at the Jubilee, you can come down. The admission is free. Doesn't cost you anything to get in. We have all kind of games and activities for the children, like train rides and face painting and clowns. We all love the clowns. And we have different games that'll be set up. But this year we have something new. We have the petting zoo and the pony rides. Now, everything we do is free. Like I said, you come, stay all day long with us. But local churches set up the food court. And they sell carnival-type foods like hamburgers, hot dogs, and things. And every money that they make, all the money goes back home with them to help further the ministry of the group that's presenting that.
How did you get started in doing the Southern Gospel Association?
Well, I've been with the association for 12 years. It's actually 13 years old. And a lot of the gospel music groups came together, the artists, because we're out singing every weekend, but we really didn't get to know each other. So we came up with an idea that we would start the association so that we would have time to sit down and fellowship with each other and get to know each other, you know, on a one-on-one basis. And it just grew from there. Now we have several artists in the area that are here, the soloists and groups, and fans as well. And over the last 13 years, God has really opened doors. In fact, this year in Phoenix City, the City Council has voted to name the third Saturday of April every year as Southern Gospel Music Day.
Oh,
and we will be getting that proclamation next month, so we're excited about it.
You also do something, I want to say, in November. It's like you have the food and you have everybody singing. It's almost like the Gaither's homecoming style.
You're right. We do the convention, and again, this year will be our 12th year of the convention, and it's another free event for the community. You come in, we do a sit-down dinner. You get to eat. Like last year we had ham and green beans and potato salad.
Sure did.
You enjoyed it, didn't you?
Yes, I ate good.
But we had a good dinner, and then you go into the sanctuary, and the artist is sitting there like Gaither style, as you said, and we sing all those songs together, and then they're featured on one of their own. And we have a ton of door prizes all night long that we give away. So everything's free, and it's to let the community know that we love our Lord, and we want to share him with him.
You know, one thing I want to say before we close this segment out with you, how if somebody's looking at this, they want to be a part of the Southern Gospel Association, how can they do that?
All they got to do is give me a call at 334-408-9410, or they can go to our Facebook page, which is the Chattahoochee Valley Southern Gospel Music Association, or to mine, Sharon Spivey, and we'll get them the information and get them to come over and join us.
Well, Sharon, I want to say thank you so much. We're coming back with the president of the Southern Gospel Music Association, Mr. Denny Grimes. I can't wait to hear more what he has to say. You do a lot of hats.
Yes, Miss Pam. This is my first year as being the chairperson for Jubilee here, and this is, like Miss Sharon had told us, this is the third year we've been doing it at Isla Park or Moon Lake in Phoenix City. And so this is my first time, you know, being a part, like getting, you know, different things, you know, like this year with the little horse rides and the petting zoo, and you know, just trying to get different churches in, and it's going to be something different for me, you know, that I'm trying to do.
Well, give them a little bit about your background. How did you get into doing, because you actually do gospel music. You're an artist yourself.
Yeah, right. I guess I've been a member of the association for 4 years. I you know, had used to be like a honky-tonk singer. Gospels come into my life when the Lord came into my life on June the 4th in the year 2000. So I've been saved 13 years, and in that 13 years I've been writing songs for the Lord and got a CD out entitled Another Day Closer to Heaven. And I met up with Miss Sharon and them somehow, and they invited me to, you know, come and visit one of their meetings, and I just fell in love with the people that were a part of it, and was just blessed to be able to, you know, join the association.
Now, you actually have been on the circuit. When you talk about country music, you have been in there.
Yes, ma'am. I have been around quite a while, but like I told you, for the last 13 years, I'm just, now singing for the Lord.
What made you switch? I mean, did an epiphany hit and you decided, I want to live for the Lord? I mean, what happened?
The Lord. He just reached down. He said, enough's enough, Denny Grimes. Go to work for me. Now, I've never looked back. I've really been blessed these last 13 years, come this June, rather, with the Lord. And I just love it. And I love, Miss Sharon and everybody that's in the association. They're just, God-loving people. They love to help people. They love to sing. And, we're getting older. If we don't hurry up and get out there and promote it for these younger people, there's just not going to be any more, of Southern gospel music, because everybody seems like in that praise and worship now kind of stuff.
That
I'm
is
not
true.
knocking it, though.
No, I know you're not, but it is true. The Southern gospel, the traditional, what we call it, traditional music,
Right.
it is starting to lose its edge. But we have got to fight, because it is the backbone of gospel and Christian music. It is the backbone of it. And I'm like, what can be done to preserve that?
That's true. That really is. And that's what we want to do. Like at Jubilee, we'll get a lot of people up there that day. And they'll be young people, and hopefully, they'll just, see the different kind of music that we do, and sharing the Lord through song, and and just be able to bless folks and just let them know that this music's good. It's about the Lord.
Denny, what do you want people to experience when they hear your music?
I want them to say that man's blessed, he's been touched, and I want them to be touched and to know that to being a Christian and a follower of Jesus Christ, there's nothing wrong with that.
What if somebody wanted to pick up your CD? How could they do that?
Well, I have a website. It's www.anotherdayclosertoheavenministry.com, and they can get in touch with me there, and through the association, the Chattahoochee Valley Southern Gospel Music Association.
Give that contact one more time.
www.anotherdayclosertoheavenministry.com.
And also, like I said, you make sure, get in touch with Sharon Spivey, get in touch with Mr. Denny Grimes. They're doing excellent things in the community. I want to say thank you for being my guest.
Thank you, Ms.
I
Pam.
appreciate you coming. Finally, I get a
My
chance
pleasure.
to interview you.
Yeah.
We're coming back with Pastor Ronnie Peterson.
I want to be a part of the Sole Purpose, the Christian Television Network Spring Telethon, nightly, March 18th through the 23rd. Join us for an exciting time with CTN hosts and guests, including Tim Gidley, Dave Boyer,
Let that music ring.
Laverne and Edith Tripp, Philip Cameron,
All things are possible.
and Jim and Lori Baker. Be a part of the Sole Purpose with the Christian Television Network, March 18th through the 23rd.
The moral decline of television is evident every time you touch the remote. We've gone from Happy Days to anger management, from Father Knows Best to RuPaul, The Flying Nun to 16 and Pregnant. There's a battle for your family, and CTN is fighting to shine the light of Jesus into the television of every home. Join with us by grabbing your cell phone and texting the letters CTN to 20222 to donate $10 to CTN. We're viewer supported, so join the fight for the family. Text CTN to 20222.
When you've been hurt in an accident, it helps to have experienced and knowledgeable attorneys to help you in your time of need. For over 30 years, our office has been helping victims in auto and truck accidents or with work-related injuries. We resolve thousands of cases both in and out of court. So if you've been hurt and it wasn't your fault,
Talk to Walt.
Talk to Walt.
Habla con Walt.
Talk to Walt.
Welcome you to be a part of our ministry. This is not a put on, but this is a come on. And we come to share in our different ministries with our dance team, with our choir, and our TV ministry. And we looking for great things to happen, great miracles to happen within this great thing to happen, great miracles to happen within this place. Come and be a part of the blessing plan.
Hello and welcome back to Unity Pastors in Deaf. I have another good friend with me. He is Pastor Ronnie Peterson of True Vine Church of Hope. I want to go ahead and say welcome to Unity.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Pastor Peterson, tell my viewers, how did you come into ministry?
Well, we'll look at almost going back maybe 10 years ago, after I had retired out the military. This spirit of that it came over me, and I had been working in the church, and all of a sudden my life started to change. So when my life started to change, then I started doing things different from what I used to do.
Okay.
And so
we all can relate to that.
Yes. And so that's when I knew that something had been changed with me. And so then that's when the calling had came. I ran from it for maybe about 3 years, and before I actually got serious about it, and when I did get serious about it, then I got ordained. I'm not ordained, but I got licensed in 2000. The experience I had with Christ was back in 1997. So they gave me that time to get myself together. And then after I became into the ministry, I started out in the Methodist. And from the Methodist, I went to the Baptist. And then from the Baptist, I started a church.
Okay.
Out of that. And so we started a church in 2009. So now, to present, this is where we at.
This where you at?
Yeah, right here.
I heard you talk about, the transitional periods of getting the calling and then running from that. What was that like while you was running? I'm a pastor's daughter, so I can talk about running.
The only thing I can tell you, Sister Pam, is that when you cannot sleep at night.
No.
You're in another world where you want to be left alone because you don't understand what's going on.
Yes.
Until you get around somebody that's already have experienced this.
Yes, sir.
So the first person I had to go to was my pastor.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't want to believe me. He kept putting me off. And so he told me to go read some scriptures and come back and see me in 3 months. And I said, 3 months? So I read the scriptures. I came back to him. I said, and nothing changed. It's still the same. So he said, well, I tell you what. After December, he said, I want you to come back to me. And if everything's still the same, we'll go forward. So after December, I went back to him. I said, still the same. And nothing changed. I said, this is it. So that's when I came to the congregation to want to tell them the experience that I had with the calling. And everybody thought I was rededicating my life or rejoining the church.
Right.
But that wasn't the case. So after he opened up the doors of the church, it just something like this pushed me up there. And I went, and when I turned around, everybody knew exactly what they said. They knew what I was going to say. But I said, well, how did they know? But that's how God works.
Confirmation.
Right. So I told the congregation that I had been called into the ministry. And I said, I just need y'all prayers and help. My family, my wife, nobody still didn't know. But my mom, she said she knew something was wrong with me because I was acting strange. All the time I wanted to stop by and talk and eat with her, I couldn't do that because they wouldn't understand. So when I got the calling, and it's been a ride ever since.
Yes.
There's been some ups and downs.
Yes, sir.
Some struggles. Sometimes you want to give up, but I know that God, if he called me out here, he's not going to leave me by myself.
How do you keep going in the midst of struggles? You talk about struggles, but how do you keep going?
Well, it's a lot of praying.
Okay.
It's a lot of having faith, trusting in God and his word and his promise, and that's what keeps me going. And I know that God has got some mission out here for me because right now I'm in places that I never thought I'd even go to. Now I'm into the jail, doing prison ministry, as well as pastoring. And I never thought in my wildest dream, why would I be inside of a jail or a prison, ministering to those. But when you look in the scripture, it tells us to go visit those that are sick and the ones that are incarcerated, feed the hungry, And so when I look at all that, that tells me in detail that this ministry is so widespread that you got to go and tell everybody. You got to go and help everybody when you may feel like you don't want to help.
That's true.
But you got to.
So how do you, I'm listening to you, but have you ever had somebody you had to minister to and it just seemed like, I just can't reach them?
Yes. And you were thinking that everything that you were doing is just for nothing.
Yes.
For nothing.
Yes.
But I believe that what God is doing is he keep trying to get me ready.
Okay, okay.
You know, because if I go through the struggles, then I have a testimony.
That's right.
I have experienced something that I can be able to tell someone else how to go through it. And I believe that we all have to go through some things. We have to endure, you know, during those hard times. And when the light do come on at the end of the tunnel, then you can look back because it will make you stronger.
What's next for Pastor Peterson? What's next for you?
What next for me is I want to do the will of God to the best of my ability, and I want to be able to save as many souls through Christ as I possibly can.
Well, before we go to commercial break, would you please tell people how can they come to your church and your service times, and how may they contact you?
Okay, well, we're located off of Victor Drive. We're in the Old Welcome Center. We're there every Sunday at 11 a.m., and we also have Bible study at 7 p.m. on Wednesday. You can contact me at 706-593-1428.
Well, Pastor Peterson, I want to tell you thank you so much.
And thank you, too,
for
having
coming
me.
to Big Girl Show.
All right, then.
We're going to commercial break, coming back with more pastors. Get ready for Pastor Willie King.
I want to be a part of the Sole Purpose, the Christian Television Network Spring Telethon, nightly, March 18th through the 23rd. Join us for an exciting time with CTN hosts and guests, including Tim Gidley, Dave Boyer,
Let that music ring.
Laverne and Edith Tripp, Philip Cameron,
All things are possible.
and Jim and Lori Baker. Be a part of the Sole Purpose with the Christian Television Network, March 18th through the 23rd.
The moral decline of television is evident every time you touch the remote. We've gone from Happy Days to anger management, from Father Knows Best to RuPaul, The Flying Nun to 16 and Pregnant. There's a battle for your family, and CTN is fighting to shine the light of Jesus into the television of every home. Join with us by grabbing your cell phone and texting the letters CTN to 20222 to donate $10 to CTN. We're viewer supported, so join the fight for the family. Text CTN to 20222.
When you've been hurt in an accident, it helps to have experienced and knowledgeable attorneys to help you in your time of need. For over 30 years, our office has been helping victims in auto and truck accidents or with work-related injuries. We resolve thousands of cases both in and out of court. So if you've been hurt and it wasn't your fault,
Talk to Walt.
Talk to Walt.
Habla con Walt.
Talk to Walt.
Welcome you to be a part of our ministry. This is not a put on, but this is a come on. And we come to share in our different ministries with our dance team, with our choir, and our TV ministry. And we looking for great things to happen, great miracles to happen within this great thing to happen, great miracles to happen within this place. Come and be a part of the blessing plan.
Hello and welcome back to a special edition of Unity Pastors in Depth. I got another very good friend of mine in the clergy field. He is Pastor Willie King of the Okie Hill Missionary Baptist Church in Albany, Georgia. It depends on where you're from. You may say Albany. Want to go ahead and say welcome to Unity.
Welcome to Unity. Amen. Thank you.
Well, tell my people, they don't know anything about you, but how did you get started in the ministry?
Oh, that's a long haul. I've had family members that's been ministers, but I never saw the calling myself until there was some 2008. I got called into that ministry. It was something that I couldn't run from. The Lord, equipped me with some people that He put in my life, and as a result, I had to accept that calling.
Did you want to accept it, or?
A calling is not something that you do by choice. Sometimes you can't run from it because you can't run from God. But the key is whenever that calling is done, it takes preparation afterwards. You says, okay, I got to preach to God's people. So the next thing that you do is start getting prepared. Go ahead and sign up for all the schools you can get. Can all you learn and learn all you can.
Would you say you learned more in school, or did you learn more on-the-job training in ministry?
Well, I've been in church all my life.
Or was it a mixture of both?
It was a mixture of both.
Okay.
Because I've been in church all my life. I've watched other pastors, and I've learned from some very great seasonal pastors. My father-in-law, for example, Reverend H.B. Johnson Jr., and then the late Reverend Dr. J.H. Flakes, for one, and his son, J.H. Flakes III, and my pastor down in Bainbridge, former Reverend Henry L. Flowers Jr., that I grew up in church through, and the late Reverend Henry Clark. But I've also had an uncle who was a preacher, the late Dr. Reverend Charlie James King. He knew, even as a young person, he thought that, he knew somebody was in the family was going to be a preacher, but he just didn't know who. But it was sadly after he had gone that I got called into the ministry. So, but it's a line of kings, but it's not many of us that do it. Out of a family of 12, I'm the only one that actually got called into the actual ministry. So, but the calling is one that I feel honored to have, because, I thought God, he's looking at somebody like me to give out his word, and that's a big honor and a big responsibility. And to do this, it takes a lot of prayer. You got to have supportive family. My wife is very supportive, and my family is supportive.
That she is.
And that's one of the things that really helps the ministry, to where when you're ready to throw in the towel, he says, no, I got to keep on keeping on.
Well, you're pastoring a church that's been around for a long time.
Yes, OK Hill's been around going on 145 years now. And she hadn't had many pastors. I'm her ninth pastor. So, in that length of time, she's in a great location, and she's good for growth. And my goal is to just try to continue that legacy of keeping it growing.
I noticed you refer to the church as a she. This is the first time I've heard this one on the show. Why?
She's the bride of Christ.
Okay.
Christ is, when Christ comes back, he's going to marry, the church, and that's his bride. And that's and you look at the church as being the chastity bride.
I've talked to a lot of pastors, but you make the church as personal. It's like it is a person, a living and breathing organism.
Oh, yes.
How are you able to do that?
Because I try to tell my congregation that the church is not an organization. It's not a PTA meeting or a Masonic meeting or anything like that, a large meeting that you go to. But the church is an organism. She needs all of her parts in order to really function, and every member is important. And I try to teach them that whether you're a person who cleans the floor or a person who in the pulpit, every job is still just as much important as the other, because it's just like the human body. You need all its parts to work. Even your pinky toe, even though it's a small part of your body, but if you don't have it, you'll lose your balance and be wobbling and can't really get your way good. So I try to teach them that the church is not an organization, but an organism, a living, breathing thing. And Christ gave his life for the church. So, so it had to be ultimately important.
I like that, because you're just talking about, you're just smiling, you're talking about it as though it's a lady. I'm loving this from you. It's a different side of knowing you too. Okay. But what was it like taking over an old, a mature established congregation? I want to get that right.
This is good. And I found a lot of mistakes that young pastors make, and they look at me as being a young pastor. But one of the things that strongly urge is I sit back and I just observe. I'm not one who goes and make changes right away and say, oh, we need to do this and do this. But what I do is just take what they already have and improve on it, and just say we're just going to improve on what you already have. And the membership will accept that a lot better than saying, well, we're going to change this, we're going to change that. Because when you start making changes too fast, you really will turn off a lot of members, and because they're not accepting change, but you're making the changes, but all you're doing is just implementing. Say, look, I'm just going to improve what you already have, and they're more accepting of taking that versus just saying you're making change. You're making changes, but you look at the congregation sees it as, okay, he's building on the idea that we already had, and they take that a lot better than just saying making changes.
One thing I want people to know before we go to commercial break, what do you want people to know about Pastor Willie?
That I'm only a servant of God, and I totally insist on decreasing and allow the Lord to increase, because it's not about me at all. I'm not one who says, I need to put my name out there, because I'm just a servant of the Lord just like anybody else, and I'm just honored that God used me as that instrument to get his word out. So.
Well, tell the people before we go off the air, how can they contact you And where's your church located?
The Oak Hill Missionary Baptist Church is located at 4713 Gillianville Road in Albany, Georgia. It sits in a good prime place, and we have services every Sunday, and we have Wednesday night service and Bible study as well.
Well, Pastor Willie King, thank you so much for coming to Big Girl Show. I want to tell you, as always, show love in the community, and always, please pray for your pastor.
I want to be a part of the Sole Purpose, the Christian Television Network Spring Telethon, nightly, March 18th through the 23rd. Join us for an exciting time with CTN hosts and guests, including Tim Gidley, Dave Boyer,
Let that music ring.
Laverne and Edith Tripp, Philip Cameron,
All things are possible.
and Jim and Lori Baker. Be a part of the Sole Purpose with the Christian Television Network, March 18th through the 23rd.
The moral decline of television is evident every time you touch the remote. We've gone from Happy Days to anger management, from Father Knows Best to RuPaul, The Flying Nun to 16 and Pregnant. There's a battle for your family, and CTN is fighting to shine the light of Jesus into the television of every home. Join with us by grabbing your cell phone and texting the letters CTN to 20222 to donate $10 to CTN. We're viewer supported, so join the fight for the family. Text CTN to 20222.
When you've been hurt in an accident, it helps to have experienced and knowledgeable attorneys to help you in your time of need. For over 30 years, our office has been helping victims in auto and truck accidents or with work-related injuries. We resolve thousands of cases both in and out of court. So if you've been hurt and it wasn't your fault,
Talk to Walt.
Talk to Walt.
Habla con Walt.
Talk to Walt.
I want to be a part of the Sole Purpose, the Christian Television Network Spring Telethon, nightly, March 18th through the 23rd. Join us for an exciting time with CTN hosts and guests, including Tim Gidley, Dave Boyer,
Let that music ring.
Laverne and Edith Tripp, Philip Cameron,
All things are possible.
and Jim and Lori Baker. Be a part of the Sole Purpose with the Christian Television Network, March 18th through the 23rd.
Welcome you to be a part of our ministry. This is not a put on, but this is a come on. And we come to share in our different ministries with our dance team, with our choir, and our TV ministry. And we looking for great things to happen, great miracles to happen within this great thing to happen, great miracles to happen within this place. Come and be a part of the blessing plan.